Peace, everyone. Welcome back if you are returning, and if you are new here, welcome. We are reviewing the manuscript Synchronous Universe, which is the follow-up to the prerequisite Peaks and Valleys. Right here in front of me, I'm going to show you, if you are watching the video, you can see the official cover for this is Synchronous Universe. I finished this recently, so I'm showing the official updated cover. Obviously, the contents is what we're looking for here. These are designed as workbooks. There's plenty of space in the book in between the lines to, have your pen with you and jot down notes as you go. It's easy to highlight stuff and just kind of at your will form some of this into your utility belt of consciousness as you unravel your infinite potential within the life spirit. That is the creative process in the individual. Now we have an individual code to unravel, collectively remind each other that we're responsible for doing so. And that's a brief introductory that I try to give in some way, shape, or form in these videos. So again, that's Synchronous Universe. If you're interested, check out the comment section in any of these videos. It's available there on Amazon. And also, if you don't use Amazon, hit me up and I will send you, I just need a mailing address. I will send you a copy of the book, a physical copy of the book. I think I can fit these legally in like regular envelopes with a stamp, so I might be able to get away. I have to make sure that the dimensions fit and the weight is under the requirement, but I think it is. So that would be pretty nifty if I can send these paperbacks through a simple envelope with a stamp. So again, this is Peaks and Valleys. This is the first publication. Oh, wait, sorry. All right, there we go. This is the first publication that I released in November 2024. So both of these books are relatively new. Now, I don't want to spend much more, wasting any more time on this. I just wanted to kind of, I guess, promo, but more so if you guys are interested in the material and want to invest in yourself and have a workbook for yourself, they're available, and those are multiple ways to get in touch with me, and is, I guess, the ultimate way to also support your boy, and it is much appreciated. I'm essentially just trying to give some utility that any conscious student to the life university, can harness and employ through exercise and development via practical and applicable methods that are unique to them as they are exploring their infinite potential, as you are exploring your infinite potential. Here in this physical apparatus, we have to utilize the higher nature of our being, of the aspects of our being, and put them to work for us so that we have a complete agency over them. These are our divine faculties, our divine machinations. We are responsible 1,000,000% for. Nobody else. No thing else. You. So we've been going into the Synchronous Universe, the beginning of Synchronous Universe manuscript, and I encourage people to, at the very least, just follow along on YouTube. This is going to be completely free course in this playlist, so you can check out any of these videos anytime. It's going to pick you up if you're having a effed up day, or you're trying to figure some ish out, or just get your mind back focused into the real work, which is going to uplift your spirit, your thought frequency, and work and train your own subconscious, and not let these archon forces train you without you even knowing that you're being subliminally influenced by all the mainstream and all that BS that they are feeding you. That's what I always note to people, is that that's why you can't escape it, because it's they're utilizing the same infrastructure that we have. We are the infrastructure of the universe. The technology is built within the human, all human. Have infinite, boundless potential surging through the life spirit of their being. And that in that perpetual self-contemplation, we are responsible for that awareness, developing these relationships with these faculties and employing them to work for us as we design our own magical universe. So also parts of this course are designed simultaneously to protect our prana. So this infinite reservoir, instead of depleting it and giving our attention away to a bunch of BS polarity, polarizing. Okay, this is the unnatural parameter design, polarity parameter design that has been strategically embedded, subliminally embedded into the codes of this construct that we're dealing with now, which is a bunch of old order societies that have been formulating through their own harnessing of the universal forces and construct, and employing their own egregores and their own thoughts to manifest. Meanwhile, providing a scripted reality for the majority to be distracted by. I think that because the level of awareness is increasing in individuals' consciousness right now, there's going to be an overall deeper level of interpersonal individual awareness, which is going to, of course, ripple into the collective. So this is why this is important to me, so I could give as much as I can to you before I gotta get out of here. So chapter 1, we went into it a little bit in the previous video. I do want to hit on some of this multiple times, because essentially this is timeless. These are timeless practices. Soulfully, spiritually, you're going to get to a greater knowledge. You're going to have greater connection within as you develop the knowledge, wisdom, love, understanding, compassion, forgiveness. You're going to learn how to do that for you, so that it immediately reflects itself to the external world. That's all that the external world is, but a mere reflection of what is emerging from your soul, your spirit, your mental faculties at any given moment in this experience. All these higher faculties of the nature of our being are housed in this apparatus temporarily. That's why this is the illusion. This physical is all an illusion. It's all temporary. This is ancient, but we've been sort of, mixed into this archonic program, at least in this current contemporary design. Many of the first world environments put us into this effed up, chaotic, extra topographical layer of trauma, and then we make up for it with this fake magic design that's been embedded, and we're supposed to make and anyways, you see when you get older the grift, and either you find a way to go and master through your own breakthroughs and essentially practicing spirituality, in honoring, being honorable, being self-accountable. This all has to do with the similar unraveling, of your truth. That means not letting any Fox News or anybody, not even especially me. If you're letting me tell you this truth, then you're missing the entire point. I'm not. That you're unraveling your truth, and it's always going to be that way. All right. So this is an awareness that we all have to get to. That's interested in this work. If you're not interested in this work, then it makes sense that you might not want to do the shit. You might not want to go through that. But this is how you become the optimized, highest versions of your potential. As the soul, the soul is always working itself back towards the source. That's the perpetual self-contemplation of the life spirit. That's the sacred fire within that's burning. It's keeping you hot, warm. You can bring that fire up through your body. You can feel it you can feel it move to certain places. This is your inner God. That's your inner God. We're supposed to be living and learning. The inner God gets suppressed by all this archonic pleasure that we have that's supposed to be, the escape. But these are the archons. They've been talking about anybody who's developed a study in spirituality is going to see and discern this within. The archons are within. Now, I'm just saying, when I say that they're out here, I'm saying that when you use your eyeballs, you'll observe this, but it's just a reflection of what's going on within you. So these are deep layers of discernment, of know thyself, deep layers of knowing thyself, mastering your breakthroughs that you have. You don't just hit the milestone and say, all right, I'm going to post up here forever. You keep on rolling, keep on going and flowing. All right. I just wanted to share some of the healing techniques that we already have built in. These are what some of the ancients had uncovered, and the study of this are centuries old. We got wrapped up into a lot of these different systems that are current today just some odd number of years ago, and we haven't broken through them. So let's these are the chains. This is exactly what the goal of the forces are. And they know how they're training, subliminally training the microcosm of the individual. And programming the subconscious, just like a external hard drive. So I wanted to also share a brief note. I was listening to this Ani Osaru, and he was giving a lecture, which, by the way, I recommend anybody who is interested in any of this type of stuff, definitely check out. I've mentioned him before in another video, but check out his page. But this is from the master teachers as well. Brother Panic talked about this. So I'm just going backwards and making sure that people know that these sources, my books are from me to you, from my heart to you. Those are my books. But some of the stuff that I share, I'm going to give you sources, and I recommend. I'm not just telling you I want to give them credit, but If they know too, they're not gonna sit there with their be like, oh, that was my intellect. Like, no, we're all supposed to be reminding each other of this shit. I'm sharing this source with you so that you can do your own research, which is what we're all supposed to be doing. All right. And he was just noting about some of the archons and how we are sold these fake dopamines, and the archons are governing modern misery. So he noted them as some of the Trojan horses today, that the archons govern would be porn, which is loneliness sold as sex, alcohol, which is escape sold as fun, fast food, which is poison sold as just, yes, tastes good. It's synthetically, made to taste good. Luxurious luxuries are emptiness sold as joy. Video games are isolation sold as play. Celebrities are advertisements sold as role models. Drugs are numbness sold as happiness. Social media are likes sold as friendship. Smoking is addiction sold as relaxation, and scrolling is distraction sold as downtime. So I'm not here to tell you what's good and bad. We're here to develop an awareness, an inner gnosis of what the hell we're doing here. And if you want to change cracking the code, and this is where I'm gonna land the plane and get into the manuscript. This is where you really understand and unravel your boundless potential within, is by a pattern break. So I'm not saying these are good and bad for you. You have to go within and discern these relationships and manage them so that they do what they need to do for you. And if they don't serve a purpose, they protect your prana, pour that prana into something that you love and protect it. All these forces are trying to literally vacuum your emotion and vacuum your life force, your prana. All right, let's roll. We got to get into the context. All right, let's read some of this. I don't want to spend way too much time today. We're just reviewing a little bit from the last video, but I'm going to go over this once or twice. I'm not just going to read it once like a children's book. This is stuff that you can reflect on at any point in time, at your will. All right, and these videos are going to be up and available for at least for some time, so you can save them or take your notes. Do what you need to do. All right, so I'm going to go a little bit further into chapter 1. So here's back just to note repetition. The repetition of symbols form these patterns. And we're talking about, this is like the same way that ancient geometry and glyphs were made. Back to the primal source, which we use scientific instruments today to say, we discovered cymatics. All this is stuff that's perpetual in the universe. The forces of the universe are fluid with these energies, intelligences, this divine life force intelligence, which is both in formless and form, depending on which emanation it's in. All right. And you are all that divine. You are that source of divine technology, all in one. Remind yourself of that power and develop a deep gratitude for that. All right. I'm just going to overview symbols again. I think this was a decent overview. So, symbolism over the course of centuries, really, and this has gone, as far as universal intelligence, I mean, this is millions, billions of years. But let's say, let's just continue. Over the course of centuries, symbolism has embedded into the collective mind and subconscious of human beings. Symbols include shapes, symbols in Mother Nature, brand name logos, letters, sigils, molecular crystalline structures, which is all organic material, the constellations and celestial luminaries, living and non-living entities, flags, all art throughout history, egregores, which are collective thought forms, and astral. Well, they can also, present in the physical as well. If they take form, and archetypes and everything else the collective mind and imagination of man has unraveled in between. The repetition of these symbols form patterns which hold particular frequencies unique to the symbol. So if we share, let me keep going. Particular influence is thus transmitted to the individual subject to the symbol. Repetition of these patterns strengthen a particular vibrational influence, potentially imbalancing, manipulating, disrupting, controlling, and even reprogramming the electromagnetic biofield of the individual. Now, visualize these interweaving and overlapping fractals of vibrational waveforms fluid in the universe. This would be like your toroidal, we have torsion and toroidal field lattice diagrams. If you ever seen a spirograph, check out the spirograph. These are all base geometries that can expand into very, very intricate, almost kaleidoscopic in their fractalized multi-dimensional aspect. So this is something that the ancients were aware of, and down to the microcosm reflecting the macro, which is essentially the zodiac wheel. But again, we have to understand that this is about learning and expanding from. You don't want to let any of these confine you to some type of rules as you are unraveling your magical system. What does that mean? You're making your own rules. All right. Over the course of centuries has embedded into the collective subconscious. All right, so these have been carefully designed to program people for as soon as the man figured out the power of this, and corrupted man figured out the power that they could control in man. It's been exercised since then. And this is, also to note, the individual we're sharing, whether we know this or not, especially if we leave our chakras open to these impressions, we're being influenced by them, whether we know it or not. And this sympathetic coherence of frequency may attract through, this is natural law, shit we don't want. So this is just stuff to note, because we're dealing with natural law here. Hermetic law, natural law, universal laws. So let's see. Yes, I noted this in the last video too, just speaking of information, the word itself, I mean inform. So something that is from chaos coming in form, coming into form, taking a material form that can now be discerned as information. And again, formation. So in that word as well is format, right? Format. And the format of the material is the spiritual. The format of the mental is the spiritual. The format of the astral, the format of the emotional, I gave you the answer, is the astral. The formative cause, that is. And we've noted that too, that we're really not seeing but a very limited percentage with the, the sense, the eyes. As far as the electromagnetic spectrum goes. All right, let's continue. Now we're speaking about egregores, which I'll note again that the thought frequency fields across multidimensional consciousness, etheric fields, and subtle bodies layers consists of polarization parameters where frequencies of harmonized thought waveforms collect. All right? Together, these harmonized thought frequencies form belief systems with which have contributed to shaping culture and human consciousness for thousands of years. So imagine, like, if you see a lot of fog out in the morning time, where there's just like a really heavy collection of water molecules that have, in combination, collectively form this what appears as what we call a fog. So chemically arranged is a higher density than the other chemicals around it, water, which has combined itself in a lower atmospheric plane for us to observe in this illusion of biochemistry taking different shape and form in front of us. So the same way that the fog is a collection of high density, like condensified water or condensating water, or whatever its form is in the air. Scientists can be smart and tell me, but the point is that it's an analogy for the egregore, which would be like the mist collected from a group of thoughts, a collective of people that are thinking about the same thing. And these people can be in completely different locations in the world, and this power can be just as strong and just as harmonious or discordant as they will. But these are universal forces. This isn't the power, oh, this guy has a special freaking power. They're harnessing forces that are present, omnipresent, and surging through the nature of your being. All right. So yeah, these polarization parameters where frequencies of harmonized thought waveforms collect. This can also be discordant thought. So what I mean is, like, if a bunch of people were plotting to do some effed up stuff, that would be an example to wreak havoc. They're planning chaos. Plenty of that. This is very embedded into this common day matrix. So the thought frequency fields across multidimensional consciousness, etheric fields, and subtle bodies, they have contributed to shaping culture and human consciousness for thousands of years. And shaping's italicized because, of course, we're talking about patterns. We're talking about geometry. What's the study of shapes. All right, so many of these belief systems have also remained alive long after the originators or first developers manifested the waveforms, thoughts to beliefs, which form the entity or collective thought form in the astral plane that we noted as an egregore. So multidimensionally speaking, the white magic alchemist operates with God as the generator, operator, and destroyer from an inner state of awareness, the divine life force intelligence, I, Christ consciousness, pure intuition, love, and direct commune with the life spirit, which is the creative process within. So this is full agency and sovereignty of your thoughts, the frequency of your thought, and your breath. I mean, full agency of you. so that this can unravel and be, you can be honorable and accountable as it unravels. This is mastery of self-control, self-awareness, and boundless potential. Do as much as you will to do, and being able to be the best that you could be while you're here. Or I don't want to use that cliche. So not be the best. It's just unraveling everything that could possibly, that is potentiated inside of that, the fire that resonates in the perpetual flow of your spirit. And you don't want that blocked or stagnated. And this is the traumas that build up affect our mental and astral or subtle bodies, which externalize themselves as dis-ease. All right, so this is, hopefully we're making all these connections, is why we're studying how to master the invisible, right? But that is what most of you is not, is this physical is just temporary. Some people call it a meat suit or whatever. A vessel, housed in a vessel. All right. So let's take a brief moment to recognize that what we're operating in today, this matrix, is good and evil. And this is, again, I did mention this. I do remember mentioning this in the last video, but essentially we're talking about harmony and discord. Okay, that's all that is harmony and discord. And that's good and evil. And positive and negative, right? So it's just a way to associate the synchronicities of spelling of words, spells, and not let words that have already imprinted themselves in our subconscious hold that same reality in their essence. And we can continuously reshape and reform and reprogram the subconscious to do what we need it to do. So this is by opening up this and unraveling this with full accountability, awareness, and responsibility, utilizing imagination, recollection, memory, visualization, employing different exercises, all forms of creative expression, to know thyself. So these thought forms that exist on opposite ends of the spectrum are also equal to each other, right? So basically the idea that it takes two wings to keep the plane in balance. And a plane, if one of the wings that messes up, starts spiraling down, or starts descending until it freaking crashes. So the polarity design in the universe it's a universal law, a natural law, is being harnessed by archons, which are being employed by groups of people that they don't have to show their faces to establish the presence of the power and corruption that they wish to establish into the matrix field, because they're employing egregores to do it. And human prana is what feeds the egregore that allows it to eat. We're feeding it. We're literally giving our life force to it. Hopefully these concepts make sense. And if they don't, just holler at me. I need to do a good job of explaining this stuff. It's not you. It's probably I need to do a better job at explaining it. So just holler at me if it doesn't make sense. They originate from the same source of fluid potentia. Yeah, that's that unpotentiated energy that you can manifest into all, into everything. Conquering, mastering fear, mastering doubt, mastering uncertainty, all these emotional bodies that can infect and parasitically leach life force from the thought frequency of the individual, which is where you potentiate your power of boundless creative expression, which is that is the life force that's perpetual in the motion of your life, of your spirit. And the lower vibrational waveforms that give the ego impressions, stimulus, and emotional feed is change, constant change. And the change is more specifically the series of impressions, vibrational waveforms influencing the human to experience frequency alterations in their electromagnetic field. So you're getting disruptions. And also, that's just to point out, sometimes we feel like we need things to find things. But all that you need is all that you already have. And that's all that you've ever needed. In the collective consciousness, impressions of the mind directly reflect the entire body of the individual, the electromagnetic biofield, the biophysical field. This can cause, we're speaking on disruption. This can cause individuals to act irrationally in a multiple of harmful and unhealthy expressions, actions, or emotion. That the physical externalization of your emotions or your actions. Okay, so we're putting all this together so that you can have instantaneous access to the formative cause, inner awareness of the spirit, constantly. All right. Other forms of these expressions, which are almost invisible to the naked eye or involuntary, however poisonous to thoughts, like hate, self-pity, selfishness. Yeah, we're talking about emotional thought, that disrupts the inner planes that you're not gonna. You can see them, right, with this eye. So I'm just speaking in the term like you're not gonna look for it and see that. Everything you're seeing out here is a reflection of the inner weather, the inner planes. We exist in a matrix, an environment ever changing and impermanent. Fluid and seeking balance of its dual consciousness of chaos and order, or equilibrium. A lot of what is cause of chaotic is invisible to the naked eye. Even the atmospheric conditions seeking balance, generating powerful efforts to achieve balance of pressurization. One may observe as it gathers into godly force, note Vayu in Veda, the Vedas text, and Shu in Egyptian mythology, powerful enough to sweep ships under swallowing ocean tides, our waters below, and wipe out topographical layers of modern-day infrastructure. And Mother Nature and you too, astral traveler, are intertwined, intrinsically one, and perpetually in expansion with the cosmos. The intelligence that permeates everything is the source, divine life essence. In the daily life experience, every individual is unraveling their specific coding that is unique to their life spirit, or as mentioned earlier, electromagnetic biophysical field, the vibratory resonance and frequency flow of your systems. This happens primarily internally, although it does reflect itself to the external world as a natural response in the physical reality. And in the life experience and universal constructs of Mother Earth and the firmament of God, all that is and will be. So that's just to note, and even just to say in imaginative, visualized way, how many millions or hundreds of thousands or whatever number of suns do we have just in our galaxy alone? All right, so all that is and will be. As previously noted, most of what is happening in the world around us is actually invisible, and some of the frequencies show themselves in beautiful patterns, and these are some of the patterns that to this day They've been replicated in architecture, ancient architecture, such as the Giza pyramids, and also in Gothic cathedral art and other art in different time periods where there was a harnessing of the universal golden mean, and in architecture, it displayed it. There's a book about the Sphinx and the pyramid being built at different time periods based off of the geological survey of water damage that was taken at the location, noticing differences in the Sphinx and the pyramid concerning the water damages. So that were present on the rock, on the stone. So, you know, that's why all this exoteric stuff is just like what you think you know, and what they're telling you has nothing to do with your truth. And if you're setting that up as your belief systems, then you're not looking within to unravel your potential. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. That's just why I say that some of this is not for everyone. If you're interested in it, then you are. It's inherent. It's built into the way that you're thinking and the way that you're vibrating. Your frequency is saying, yeah, I am interested and want more of this. That's everybody's going to be doing that in some way. I'm just not into the worldly possessions as much. Even though we exist with it, I'm not saying to you see the bookshelf. I read a lot. I like knowledge. I use stuff outside, backpacking. I'm not against materials at all. I don't want to be acting like they're not useful. I'm saying that they're not to worship. If anything, you're developing a control of the symbol of what has been made physical and material, has been materialized. The point of this is you developing your own magical systems to communicate, discern, communicate, and manage the relationships with these symbols. Which again, these go to base geometries of universal forces. This is how they're being harnessed and employed by egregores and other entities and exist on their own with the belief systems of humanity. So noting the golden mean, just go outside. If you haven't noticed that, definitely go outside, look it up, and then go outside and see it everywhere. You start seeing it everywhere. It's in human anatomy. I mean, it is everywhere. In the dang stock market, the Fibonacci, what's it called? Trading tool. Like, what do they call them? Chart tools to analyze data. Yeah, there's the Fibonacci tool. So it's everywhere. And it's not like some dude that, the name is not even, they should just call it, the universal ratio or something. All these names that have been given to these things are not man-made shits. This is stuff that's been produced by the creator, the universal, the all being that's within you, and we've remembered it. We've recollected what's already here and put it into gnosis. And some of this stuff is going to be archonic, and some of it's going to have its natural order. It's going to be pure in its natural order. These intricate geometrical vibrational patterns hold unique frequencies specific for organizing information into life. All is recycled of the life, spirit, the mind, the material body, the soul. All parts existing across all multidimensional fields are recycled back, into the life cycle. Death is life, beginning of new life for the spirit, mind, and body, respectively, to universal law and accord. So these interdimensional geometric vibrational energy patterns are significant for understanding the rituals of sigil magic, symbolism that can be harnessed for both black and white. So here's your harmony and discord. What type of influence are you trying to bring? And I'll go back to this and show you. This is a perfect example. I've created my own. This is what that is. This is essentially a sigil that I've created. I programmed that. Now, you're welcome. I put this on the back of the book. This is a perfect time to note this. I put this on the back of the book that for two reasons. And the main one is so that I can explain that you are always programming your own sigils, and I encourage to actually program your own shapes and symbols to mean something, to give, and you give them the purpose through the frequency of your thought, and you initiate that symbol or sigil when you design it, and you make it yours and command and program it, format it, design and program it through your thought, through your frequency, to work for you. So you are also welcome to utilize this, and I can break down my programming of it, but essentially it's not there. I did not put this there for me to explain it to you. Okay, this is for you. It's for you to utilize with your visualization and imagination. All right, and more so in designing and creating your own sigils as well for things that you like to manifest in your experience. The front is just an example of a portal or a gateway that you can focus your frequency of thought via visualization through different. Again, this is like your circle that's become a little more intricate by drawing more circles within the circle. And this fractalizes this is what fractalizes our universe from the micro down to the macro, and as above makes the principle as above so below come to fruition. So again, the lattices and the geometries are used for programming your creative expression and creative faculties and exploring and unraveling all potential. This can also take place in your dreams. We'll talk about that in future videos. Right now we're just going to keep on course. So I think this is a pretty good time to kind of wind down for today. Again, guys, so this is some great work to exercises to utilize when you desire to, and sort of, there's different ways to express this, but I didn't, the thing is, like, I'm not an artist, right? Like, we're all artists, and our spirit naturally is an artist creating and expressing its own art. It's called perception, and within that is beauty, and they say that that's in the eye of the beholder. So again, there's our responsibility within to harness and employ these faculties that, you turn, no matter what you turn, where you turn, you'll see these signs that are pointing back to you to take that initiative. At some point, I think every individual comes to a spiritual, not ultimatum, but I mean, every day you can enter these gateways, right? You can enter these gateways. All you have to do is be with yourself and meditate and spend time thinking and say, these are things I really want to organize, which is essentially balancing the subtle bodies of your system, your subtle anatomy, finding peace within, that you can work from a state of balance and not a state of distortion and not a state of discordance or disharmony. Obviously, if any perfect example of, if your body, all that you are is the band, and the band is, you got the tubas, they're playing in the key of C, and the freaking flute people, they're reading a whole different book, and the damn drummers are playing Christmas music, and you see what I'm saying? It's just gonna sound way distorted, out of balance, unpleasant to the ear, whatever, right? Out of harmony. It's the same concept of what evil is. And then if all of the band was on the same key, playing on from the same book, then there'll be harmony. It'll be good. It'll sound good because it's in harmony. So these are just some different ways to contemplate the words themselves. And as you develop sigil magic, word magic, you're practicing even just building things that you program to do things for you, or using symbols that are already been built by other people and developing a deep awareness of that symbol within you. So all these are powerful techniques to practice and incorporate imagination and visualization and other faculties of the mind and the powers that are within you together: intuition, instinct, will, and keep designing your own magical systems as you traverse and unraveling your own potential as you traverse this experience. So I think for today, that's a great place to kind of wrap up. And I just wanted to say again, thank you. If you made it to the end of the video, you guys are amazing, and I really appreciate you sticking around. I do hope that you get as much. I'm giving as much as I can, as honorably as I can, without getting just completely raw, unfiltered with it. So that's where I'm at. Maybe in the future, if that might change, but for now I am presenting this. I'm trying, how am I going to frame this, to push this, to empower this into your subconscious. That's what my goal is not to look at me and say this is fact, or this is true, like good point. Like, I don't really give a shit about any of that. I'm really just trying to empower you through your own power and just remind you of your own power, but not through some ego way, like to please you. This is in efforts to balance, and if anything, make the ego your bitch, and you're in control of that power at your will, and you know how to manage the relationship with it, and you have a connection with it. You know what the heck it is, so you're not letting it govern you, and you're not letting it be influenced by the damn archons. And I'm not saying that it never is like, it's just that what the heck is up. Like, what's up. You don't have to question shit. That's where the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, you can eradicate this BS. This is what's distorting the fluidity, the flow of you becoming who you're supposed to become here. So continue unraveling and exploring your infinite potential. We're going to keep working here, but we really must take this to the streets and apply this in our real time. So again, reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding any of the material. I'm more than willing to ship these out to anybody. And again, these are available on Amazon. So there's multiple ways to get access to the material. I also have a Patreon that is free to join. So it's just building a free community. I think I have a tier membership available, but just join the free community. And this is a great way to share insights, and also people who are looking for a little bit more past the YouTube. But we will find out through that. Well, not find out. It's just going to be what it is. And when we grow, as we grow the group, we can see what everybody is wanting to learn about together, and we can move from there rather than me just presenting these manuscripts, which I'm happy to do. I'm just saying we will have more of group effort, group consciousness in these with these opportunities. So yeah, with that being said, everybody, I'm going to get off of here for today. It is June 21st, so we are at the solstice point, and moving into some hot weather. So this is my month of solar return. So here soon I'll be 31, and been real grateful to be here up to this point. And time, numbers are just an illusion. I think my soul's more like 419 or something like that years old or whatever. But yeah, as far as in this physical vessel, I'll be 31 days on the 25th. So anybody who's ever reached out, thanks, means a lot. I got a lot of love, not kind of indirectly last year for the 30. I guess that's a big number for people, right? 30. Anyways, well, that was one of my favorite. That was my baseball number for a long time. I wore 30 for years, and then after that I wore the number 6 in high school. But that number has just been a powerful number for me. So 3 or 30, which is really just 3, but nonetheless, throwing that in there. I'll be more than grateful to answer any questions that you guys have in the process of this. This isn't like okay, I get it. Again, this is purely for your research. I'm not telling you anything. I'm not telling you shit. You're gonna have to unravel the truth yourself. So just sending much love and appreciation and gratitude to everybody who has supported the channel up to this point. You are amazing, and you know what you're working with, and yeah, you know what we're getting into this for. And if you came across this channel from a different part of the playlist, stick around for this, because this is gonna be real stuff. We can go over gear reviews and backpacking stuff and garden stuff and other stuff too. It'll be fun. But this is the real work, but it also leads to the real fun, you unraveling that real fun within you. So yeah, it's not supposed to be easy, but nothing really is. That's worth it. So put that work in. Be fearless in the process. So whatever degree of the frequency of thought you're at, if you still have fear, that's where you're working at. And if you've eradicated fear, well, you're still working on the mastery of the breakthrough. So there is no stopping point. It's just a perpetual effort to exercise your inner boundless potential that you're given through the Creator, or whatever you want to call it. As the soul is always working to get back to source. You have this opportunity to take the responsibility or the ability to respond boundless left to boundless measures. It's immeasurable what the soul, what the spirit can do, where your thoughts can travel. So don't contain them. All right. Once again, holler at me with any questions, concerns, comments. Please like, share, subscribe. This will really help the channel, and it means the world. So I appreciate it. I'm going to try and do some fun giveaways and stuff in the future. With that being said, everybody, get the heck out of here. and go do some living. Much love. Please take care in your endeavors. And I'll see you in another video. Peace.